Hey everybody, Chris here. Welcome back to Steel Soldiers TV. Today we're back working on the M756A2 pipeline maintenance truck. Last time we tackled a faulty brake light switch, and interestingly enough, after we went to replace the switch and hook the socket back into the back of the switch, we found out there was also an issue with the plug going back into the socket. The terminal had broken off when we unplugged it from the old brake light switch. So I plugged it into the new switch, and the taillights, the brake lights still didn't come on. I said, what the heck? And then got to looking around and found out that the terminal inside the plug had actually broken off and stuck to the other stoplight switch. So you just never know. So thankfully found a wire terminal that would work, shoved the wire back out, cut the old one off, put a new terminal on, and we got brake lights. Today we're working on the turn signals and the headlights. I got a headlight out, and as you know, with these things, the headlights are kind of anemic when you got both of them working very well. I don't want to switch it over to LEDs. I kind of like the old school halogen look, so we're going to leave it the way it is, but I do want to make sure I've got two fully functioning halogen headlights. After we get the headlights swapped out, then we're going to see if we can figure out what's going on with the turn signals. Last time I was kind of playing around with them a little bit to see if I could figure out what's wrong. Is it the flasher module? Is it the wiring? Is it a bad ground? You know, what's going on? And then actually the turn signal switch broke off in my hand. So could very well be a faulty turn signal switch. So we're going to swap that out as well today and see if that cures the turn signals. All right, let me show you exactly what we got going on here, and then we're going to get started. All right, so the passenger side headlight is the one that's blown. So we're going to take that one loose here in just a sec and swap it out. Driver's side is still working just fine. And the turn signal switch, as you can see, has disassembled itself. This is one of the newer style switches with the mostly plastic handle. As you can see, even the switch body itself is like ABS plastic, which is great. They don't rust or corrode, but apparently this plastic gets really brittle over time, and eventually they just explode and come off in your hand. So I don't know if it was the switch that I was having problems with, or if it was the flasher module, or some combination of, but last time I decided I was going to try to see if I could get the turn signals working after I finished on the stoplight switch and just snap the handle off. So I knew there was an issue there. So we're going to replace it with a brand new metal heavy duty one and see if that'll take care of our flashers. But first, let's knock out the headlight. All right, so we're starting to work on the headlight here. So you got 3 screws, 1, 2, 3 that you got to remove from the trim ring. Got my counterpart, my buddy Grant, oldest son, give me a hand here. So Grant, you want to go ahead and take loose the top 2 screws. I already got the bottom one done there. There you go, lefty loosey, good. So those things are captured on the back, so they'll spin to a certain point, but they'll never fully come out, which is good because you want to lose one out in the field somewhere. Now, Grant, when you get this last one loose, the headlight the ring can fall off and the headlight can fall out. Of course, hopefully it's still attached by the wires, but you want to kind of push in on the headlight a little bit as you're taking out the last screw. Once you got them all completely loose, then you can kind of pull the ring away. Aha, nice. Whoop. Got it?
I can't get this off.
Yeah, just come down. Yeah, there you go. Nice. All right, yeah, set that on the fender, and then, yeah, let's take that out. Okay, yeah. So we got some nice looking stuff on the back of there. So we got our connectors. Got our connectors back here, and you want to take note of which wire is where. So these things are numbered. So you can see a little 18 there. So the 18 goes on the top right, and 17 goes on the top left, and the 16 goes on the bottom. So let's go ahead and unbox our new headlights, and then we'll swap that out. So we got our new headlight in the box here, and it also has corresponding little ID tags on the wires, so you can keep everything straight. Found these headlights online, made in the USA. Very happy about that. So we're gonna go ahead and unplug our connectors from inside the bucket here. Kind of give them a little bit of a twist. Don't pull on the, ooh, nice. Got that cosmoline stuff all over me. Don't pull on the wires, especially if you're trying to reuse any of the connectors, because oftentimes you pull the wire, you can break the wire, rip the terminal off, use your hands to grab the rubber itself and just kind of twist until it pops loose. All right, so great, you got that, thank you.
Yeah, I got that.
There we go.
I'll just put it off.
Some nice stuff there. Yeah, just, yeah, park it over there. That'd be good. All right, so now let's just put this one back in. If you want to hold the headlight. Thank you. And let's see, where's number 18? There we go, 18. All right, bring the headlight on over there and I'll plug it in here. So 18 was top right.
Mm-hmm. 17 top left.
We got the new bulb hooked back up, and now we got the trim ring back on, everything's snug down. So now we're gonna move on to working on the turn signal switch. See if we can get that hooked back up and good to go. This bulb looks like it's been in service for a long time. And you can tell by the kind of bluish black color at the inside there that it blew a while back. Now we got two brand new lights. Now, technically you could replace these things in pairs since it's a little bit different design on the light bulb, but I'm cheap. I don't want to replace it as long as it's still working. So we'll go ahead and work on our turn signal switch next. All right, to get our turn signal off, we've got to break this connector loose here. And once we've got that removed, then we can go ahead and take off the clamp here. Just a standard screwdriver or a hex driver will get that off. Let's see how seized this thing is. Oh, it's actually not. Shocking. Sometimes they get so corroded you can hardly get them off without a pair of channel lock pliers, which you hate to use because that can really screw up your connector. All right, got our Canon plug loose. Grant, you want to come get this screw out for him? Screwdriver. And you're going to loosen this clamp right here until it comes completely apart. Until the clamp backs out entirely.
Like that?
You're going to have to hold it so it doesn't spin on you. And then just keep turning that thing until it, oh, that's awfully like hard work. Let's get our impact driver. What do you think?
What?
All right, so screwdriver was just taking forever, so we decided to get the impact with the proper hex bit on there. See if that'll spin it off a little faster for you. Just took the screw right out of it, didn't it? All right, so you should be able to go ahead and pull that worm screw out of there, and then now the whole clamp should just come apart.
It's like rusted shut.
Nice. Good work, son. All right, so we got our brand new control assembly. And we just take our clamp and unscrew it until this piece comes loose. Thread that through. Like so. And leave it open, and then that goes around your steering column. Now, these little nubs actually need to make contact with bare metal on the steering column. That's how this control assembly gets grounded through the steering column. So if your steering column's nice and rusty, you may want to go ahead and scuff up the column with just a little bit of sandpaper before you put the new one on there. So let me grab some sandpaper. Ours is rusty. All right, we knocked the rust off. Yeah, let's go ahead and position our new control assembly. You just need to push this back in there. Kind of hold it with one hand and get it started with the screwdriver with the other hand. So it starts to snug up a little bit, and then we'll do our final positioning of the turn signal switch. Once you got it where you like it, snug it on down. We won't use the impact to put the new one on. We'll break this clamp off. All right, so now that's good to go. So this cannon plug's got a little indexing groove here, Grant. So if you can look at the back of the socket here, you'll see a identical groove, so you actually got to match that up, or else the plug won't go in there.
Yeah.
So it should slide in pretty easily. Don't want to force it, or else your pins won't line up and you'll break something.
That won't be good.
No, sir. All right, very good. Wasn't too bad of a project, was it?
No.
So we got the flasher switch replaced. Still no flashy there, right, Grant?
Yeah.
So now we're looking at the flasher module, which is here, just inside the driver's fender. And you can see that ground lead right there under that bolt. That looks pretty crusty. So a lot of times just a bad ground. So I'm going to put a little oil on the nut and bolt there, and we'll break that loose, clean everything up, and put it back on, see if that'll rectify the situation. If not, could be the flasher, and thankfully I do have an extra flasher module. So we got our bolt and nut broken loose, and as you can see, that terminal is really crusty, and the body of the flasher is crusty, the washer, and the bolt itself, and the flat washer that was on the back side of the inner fender, and the inner fender, all very crusty. So entirely possible that we've lost ground. Also noted that the inner fender has broken loose. So I'm either gonna have to fire a self-tapper into that to fix it for now, which I'll probably do because I'm gonna do a cab swap on this thing, or break out the welder and weld that thing up. Probably put a piece on there to reinforce it over the whole thing and then drill a new hole through it. But it's fairly thin metal, and so just the stress, all the bouncing and wiggling and banging over the years has weakened that till it finally broke loose. So that may have something to do with it too. It's not getting a good ground to the cab. The only place it's connected, the inner fender is connected just to the fender itself, which, you know, super crusty, and the front fender support, who knows how crusty those nuts and bolts are. And there's a rubber gasket, so to speak, on that as well. So, oh yeah, that's nice. Not a lot of support there. Yeah, have I mentioned this thing's pretty rusty? All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and try to clean all this stuff up and just see if I can scuff the rust off of it, tighten it back up with our impact here, and see if we can get it working again without having to go through too much trouble. With everything put back together, the flasher still isn't flashing. If you switch it to the right turn signal, it holds the right signal solid right. If you switch it to the left, it holds the left signal solid left. So I think it's just my flasher that's shot at this point. So I'm gonna go ahead and replace it, see if we can't get these things working now. Here's the new flasher versus the old, and as you can see, everything matches up nicely. Bolt pattern, pin pattern, everything looks good. As janky as it is, I went ahead and put a self-tapping screw through the inner fender into the body. Anyways, you know, I'm getting rid of this this cab tub. I'm swapping it out. So in the meantime, at least I'll know this inner fender won't be flopping around, and plus that'll be one more path to ground, a new path to ground, if you will, for our flasher module. So let me go ahead and get our new flasher module in place and everything tightened down, ground strap back where it's supposed to be, and hopefully that will get us flashing again. Success, ladies and gentlemen. We got blinkers. Outstanding. So we got our new turn signal module snug down, nice and neat there. I tell you what, I don't know where impact tools have been my whole life. Tell you, working on these Army trucks for the last 20 some years and not having battery powered impacts up until the last couple of years, they make things so much easier. I mean, just swapping out a flasher module. You know, you're dealing with old crusty hardware, stuff that's been on this truck for who knows how many years. And you can get it with a ratchet and a wrench, but it's so much easier when you've got these little electric impact tools. So nice. All right, so we're blinking in both directions. That's fantastic. So there you have it. Now you've seen the process from start to finish, how to change a headlight, how to change a flasher switch, and how to change out a flasher module, and do a little bit of troubleshooting. You know, the first thing you always want to try is make sure that your grounds are clean. Many people have replaced switches, have replaced flasher modules and that sort of thing over the years unnecessarily because they had a bad ground, a dirty ground. So these trucks, again, if they don't have good ground, you're going to get all sorts of weird stuff happening with your lights, and it can make it can make you pull your hair out trying to figure out what's going on sometimes. So go through, check all your grounds, make sure everything's clean, and then and only then start replacing electronics. And so once I replace the module, bang, flashers start working again. So everything's in good shape. Now I'm going to have to do some of this stuff all over again when I do my cab swap and all my chassis work and everything else. But again, that's going to be one more opportunity to make sure that all the grounds are in perfect shape and that everything's got the right kind of star washer, dielectric grease, you know, whatever else I need to do to make sure that these grounds stay in good contact and don't give me any electrical gremlins going forward. Of course, this truck's going to get parked in the garage when it's all said and done. So that's going to be nice too, that it's not going to spend its entire life sitting outside like most of these trucks do. So I'm going to go through all the bulbs and everything, make sure everything else is in good shape. I'll have this truck ready to get on the road. Hopefully this week, we're going to be going out and getting our tires put on. I've got those 1100 R20 Goodyears to go on here, and they're going to look fantastic, and they're going to make this truck much safer on the road, in my opinion. I'm going to take it out on the wet roads, in the snow, and you know, I just think you get a much better contact pattern with those G177 tires. You get that block tread pattern versus the NDT. I love the NDTs for the originality. They're beautiful. Love the looks of them. But you can't beat these Goodyear radials for, in my opinion, reliability, durability, roadworthiness, off-road worthiness. I just think they're going to be a much better tire for me because I'm going to use this truck. It's not going to be sitting in the garage all the time collecting dust. I'm going to be out and about, hitting the trails, hitting the snowy streets, having some fun with it, taking the kids out. We're going to use this truck, so I want to make sure I've got some good tires on there that we can trust. The NDTs that are on there, many of them look new, but they're weather checked like crazy. You can tell they've been on their truck for a long time, sitting outside and getting weathered. So I just don't trust them all. So these tires that I picked up are very, very nice. They're 95% tread, no weather checking. They're going to be great. And I got brand new tubes and flaps to go on this thing. So I'm going to have hopefully 11 good wheel and tire combos, and that's going to keep me on the road safe and sound with my family and with all the other bystanders around me for a long time. Well, that's it for this episode. Keep tuning back in. We're going to do a lot of cool stuff with this truck. And if you guys like working on old trucks and love these little how-to videos, be sure to hit that subscription button, hit the little notification bell. Got any comments or questions? Be sure to leave those down below and give me a big thumbs up if you would, please. A greasy thumbs up. I always appreciate those. See you guys again real soon. Take care.